What are you going to do now?
Too scared to move now? The man sneered, his voice slicing through the still air. The letters HOA Enforcement shimmered crookedly across his vest, held together by arrogance more than stitching. Two others flanked him near the curb, laughing loud enough to rattle mailboxes. One filmed on his phone, the other clapped slowly like this was a show. She's frozen, man. Guess she finally knows who runs this block. Their laughter felt ugly, thick, smug, loud because it was afraid of silence. The black woman in front of them didn't flinch. She stood beside her car, sunlight spilling across brown skin and calm eyes that didn't blink. The air around her carried that heavy, humming quiet right before a storm. "Come on, say something," the man taunted, waving the gun closer. The muzzle hovered inches from her face now. "You deaf or just stupid?" A passing breeze lifted the edge of her jacket. Not a twitch, not a breath broke her stillness. If fear was there, it hid too deep to see. One of the other men snorted. "Figures. People like you never know when they're out of their league." That earned another round of laughter. Short, mean, nervous. Have you ever had someone laugh in your face, thinking their authority made them untouchable? What would you do if a fake cop laughed in your face, gun raised, calling you weak just because of the color of your skin? Before we go further, what city or country are you watching from right now? Drop it in the comments. We love seeing where you're tuning in from. And if you believe that silence doesn't mean weakness, smash that like button and subscribe to Story Arc for stories that turn arrogance into regret. Her gaze tracked the man's wrist, the way his fingers trembled when he pretended they didn't. Years of discipline sharpened her focus. Her eyes weren't scared, they were calculating. But no one else knew that. To them, she looked cornered. To her, they were the ones standing on thin ice. Hours earlier, before the sun climbed high over Crescent Ridge Estates, Detective Kendra Hayes parked her car 2 blocks away and watched through tinted glass. Her cover was simple: a quiet new homeowner with a knack for minding her business. What nobody in the neighborhood knew was that she wasn't there for peace and quiet. She was there for proof. For weeks, residents had filed complaints about men in HOA enforcement vests handing out fake citations, demanding compliance fees, and targeting Black and Hispanic families. Each report ended with the same name: an unregistered group posing as neighborhood police. And now, Kendra finally had them. She'd been undercover for 11 days, blending in, noting times, patterns, and the same silver SUV that patrolled each morning like clockwork. Today, the trap was set. But the plan didn't include a gun in her face. Back in the present, the man's smirk widened as he waved the pistol an inch closer. "What? You scared now? You look scared." His partners laughed, one recording, the other egging him on. "Yeah, tell her what happens when people don't follow HOA orders." Their laughter grew louder, bouncing off the driveways. Kendra didn't speak. She didn't blink. She watched his grip shift on the gun, too tight, right wrist tense, stance sloppy. She could read fear in men like him the way surgeons read heart monitors. Then it happened. The leader took one more step forward, shoes scraping concrete. "You hear me?" he snapped. "Answer when I—" He didn't finish. The sound hit first, a hollow crack of skin on wrist, followed by the sharp gasp of a man losing control. The gun flew sideways, clattering to the pavement before anyone processed what happened. By the time their laughter broke into confusion, she'd already moved again, fast, deliberate, trained. Her left hand caught his arm, her right shoulder dropped low, and with a twist that seemed impossible, she flipped him flat onto the ground. The thud echoed down the street. The second man stumbled backward, eyes wide. "What the? Hey! Chill!" She didn't even glance at him. Her knee pressed down between the leader's shoulder blades, one hand pinning his arm in a lock that made him groan through clenched teeth. "Still think this is funny?" she asked, voice low even. The question landed harder than any punch. The laughter was gone now, swallowed by shock. The one with the phone stopped recording. His hands shook as he lowered it. The third man froze completely, unsure whether to run or beg. "Get off me!" The pinned officer barked, his voice breaking between rage and pain. "You can't touch me!" "I'm law enforcement." She leaned closer. "Shut up! You're a man in costume." "Get up," she ordered. Kendra's gaze swept over them. Cheap badges, fake radios, IDs clipped to their belts that didn't match any legitimate database she knew by heart. She reached down, yanked one ID free, held it up. Homeowner Operations Authority, she read. That's not even a registered agency. She tossed it on the hood of her car. You're frauds, and you've just broken half a dozen laws, impersonating law enforcement, unlawful intimidation, racial harassment, and possession of a replica firearm. The tallest one stammered, Lady, you don't know what you're talking. Quiet, she said. From the corner of her eye, she caught movement. Neighbors on their porches, phones raised, recording every second. The fake cops looked around, realizing the crowd had turned against them. One of them whispered, Turn that off. Nobody listened. Kendra stood taller, eyes cutting through them. You wanted attention, now you've got witnesses. She reached inside her jacket, slow, deliberate, and flipped open a leather badge wallet. The gold shield caught the sunlight. Detective Kendra Hayes, State Bureau of Investigation. Every trace of color drained from their faces. The one with the phone whispered, Oh God. The leader looked ready to crawl away. You've spent weeks harassing people who pay your salaries with fake fines and empty threats, she said. Congratulations, you just threatened a detective. The leader's mouth opened, but no words came out. Then, faint at first, came the sound of real sirens, drawing closer, echoing through the cul-de-sac. Kendra didn't smile, didn't gloat. She just stepped back and said, Don't move. The real cops will be happy to finish what you started. The fake officers froze as blue lights flickered across the houses, and none of them laughed anymore. The sound of real sirens filled the air, slicing through the neighborhood's uneasy silence. Curtains shifted in nearby windows. Neighbors peeked out, whispering as two patrol cars rolled up the street. The fake HOA cops stood motionless, faces pale, sweat soaking through their vests. The leader tried to stand, but his legs wobbled. Kendra didn't move. She just pointed toward the weapon on the ground. You might want to tell them whose gun that is before they assume it's real, she said. Two uniformed officers stepped out, hands near their holsters. What's going on here? The first one asked. Kendra held up her badge, clear and steady. Detective Hayes, State Bureau of Investigation, she said. These three have been impersonating law enforcement and harassing residents under a fake HOA security outfit. The officer blinked. You serious? Search them, she said. You'll find fake credentials, tasers, and intimidation flyers. They've been running a racket. The cops moved fast. One after another, the imposters were cuffed, their fake badges pulled off and tossed onto the hood of a cruiser. The leader tried to protest, shouting about misunderstandings and orders from the board, but it only made things worse. Kendra watched, expression unreadable. Funny, she said quietly, how fast courage disappears when real authority shows up. The officers nodded respectfully. We'll take it from here, Detective. As they loaded the three into the back of the cruisers, neighbors started to gather. Phones were out. A few people clapped. Others just stared. One woman murmured, she never even raised her voice. Weeks later, the report spread statewide. The men behind the fake HOA enforcement scheme were charged and convicted for impersonation, unlawful intimidation, and fraud. The ringleader got 10 years, the others took plea deals. The community replaced their phony signs with a neighborhood watch led by real residents. And Detective Kendra Hayes, she didn't stick around for applause. Her work was quiet, her victories uncelebrated. That's how she preferred it. But people remembered her. They remembered the calm in her eyes when a gun was pointed at her face and how silence turned to justice. Because in her world, truth didn't need noise. It only needed proof. If you believe people like that deserve every second of their sentence, smash that like button and subscribe to Story Arc, because fake HOA cops learn today what real authority looks like.